Yo guys, welcome back to the channel. For this video, I want to talk about the next character that's coming out in the second half of the update 1.2, which is also the same character that we're gonna get for free once we finish the event or the ongoing event, the Moonlit Festival, Moonchase Festival, whatever it's called. I honestly forgot. Xiangli Yao is gonna be free. Yes, he is going to be free. Honestly, I'm excited to get him. I'm going to get his weapon. I might probably get his S1. We'll just have to see. So with that being said, let's just jump right in and let's see what Xiangli Yao has to offer.
Yeah, boy.
Alright, so this is the trial. Oh, touch that. This is the trial for Xiangli Yao. This is the first official look to his kit, everything that he does, and his builds and everything. So first and foremost, Xiangli Yao is a gauntlet character, a gauntlet electro character. As you can see here, melee, gauntlet, punching, kicking. Definitely a gauntlet character with the electro element. So let's use the skill here. Oh, that is cool. That is bad. Wait, you can use it multiple times. So yeah, as I was saying, Xiangli Yao is an electro character, and the weapon is a gauntlet right here called Verity's Handle. The substat of the weapon is crit rate, which is good normally, but for Xiangli Yao, it's insanely good, and I will get on that in a bit. Gives 12% attribute damage bonus. I think that goes for most 5-star weapons, signature 5-star weapons at least. But the main thing that we want to look at with his weapon, when using Resonance Liberation, the wielder gains a 48% Resonance Liberation damage bonus, and this effect can be extended by 5 more seconds, up to 3 times when he casts the Resonance skill. That is already a big clue as to what his kit will be. So he will enter the intuition, that is, I don't know, let's just call it the Super Saiyan. So Xiangli Yao has different states for his attacks, the skills, the attacks, and everything, depending on the 40 gauge that you have, capacity and performance capacity, if I remember correctly. So when you're in your normal state, it is the normal capacity, that is the normal 40 gauge. When you are in your ult state, that is the performance capacity. So it changes depending on what state you're currently in, or Xiangli Yao is currently in. Basically, he deals more damage when he has 40 gauge and Liberation up. And one more very important thing, when he is in his ult state, the dodge counter is replaced with a different dodge counter, and this is considered as Resonance Liberation damage. And why is that important? Because that is one of the many things in his kit that would be considered as Resonance Liberation damage. If we go over the Forte circuit here, if he has full capacity and you use the skill normally, you're not in your ult state, just full capacity, it will be considered as Resonance Liberation. Now, when you are in your ult state and you reach full 40 gauge or 40 circuit, your resonance skill will be considered Resonance Liberation damage. And we also have the mid-air attack revamp here. So when you cast your skill, basic attack mid-air is considered Resonance Liberation damage as well. That is mid-air attack revamp. So that is after casting your resonance skills. Let's try that out. So his normal attacks are this, and those are considered just basic attacks, right? So when you use your skill and you attack immediately, that is considered as Resonance Liberation damage. We use our skill again without the 40 gauge. So as you saw right there, we do need to have a full 40 gauge up or full 40 circuit up in order to use the skill as a liberation damage. There you go. Because without it, no 40 gauge right here to activate the skill. Yeah, no follow up, no nothing. Just the normal basic attack numbers right there. Okay, so that's basically everything that we need to know when he is in his normal state and not in his ult state. Now, let's try to go into his ult state with a full 40 gauge. Let's This is why I hate this echo right here, because you need to launch the final hit in order to get the full buff of it. Anyway, enough of that. Let's use our ult here. That is badass. That is badass. 24k, so that's the initial hit. Okay, so now we have full 40 gauge, right? The full performance capacity. We use our skill. That is considered as heavy liberation damage. Okay. Sorry, not heavy. Resonance Liberation damage. Oh, I'm getting lost with what I'm saying. Basically, that is how you play Xiangli Yao. It's a lot easier to see or to use the character as to compared to like looking at it at the websites or some leaks. It's a lot easier to understand when you're actually using the character itself. For me, at least, it's a lot easier. So basically, you enter the ult state, deal more damage, and most of your attacks are considered as, well, liberation damage. So you do want to stack up liberation damage. Well, to be honest, he has a lot of liberation damage buff already, especially if you have a character like Jan Shin as a sub DPS for this character. 40 gauge is really easy to fill up. I don't know if it's just in the trial, but look at this. Let's use up our full 40 gauge right there. Look at this. Our 40 gauge is almost It's so fast. It's so fast, meaning you're gonna do this a lot. You're gonna do the resonance liberation damage a lot. As a skill, as everything else, bro. It's so easy. It's so fast. I don't know about the numbers though. I don't know if it's this abomination has a lot of electro resistance, but the damage isn't that good. But we just have to see the stats again later on. Okay, we have our ult one more time. We have to use our ult. I want to use the ult one last time before. Okay, there we go. Okay, so what if we enter the ult state without the forte gauge? Go and do that. Okay, still the same damage, 20k, right? And then we get... Okay, so it's not really necessary to have the forte gauge. So as I mentioned earlier, you don't really need to fill up your forte gauge when you use your liberation. You just need to attack in order to get the forte gauge. It's really easy. It's really fast, as you saw earlier. And one important thing that I mentioned earlier as well is that his weapon is crit rate, and that is very, very important because his stat bonus is crit damage. So we got 8 crit damage here and 8 crit damage here as well. That's 16 crit damage. And other characters, other 5-star characters, they have crit rate. For example, Jian has crit rate. Jinxie has crit rate. So he will have lower crit rate overall compared to characters like Jinxie. That's why having a crit rate weapon is insanely good for Xiangli Yao. Let's look at the sequences, because I mentioned earlier that I do want to get his S1. S1 right here, Resonance Skill, Law of Rains. Basically, the skill does more damage. That's the S1. A little bit of damage boost again with the S2. So I don't think S1 and S2 is all that necessary, guys. Then I highly suggest that you just get his weapon, as I can't stress enough how good his weapon is. You need to get his weapon, guys. S3 is insanely good though. I think I'm still going to get S1 because I do plan to get Scar in this account, but I don't think Scar is coming out anytime soon, so I might as well just get the S1. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do that, but I do guarantee that I am going to get his weapon because it's really good for Xiangli Yao, guys. It's really, really good. So let's take a look back at his liberation here. Actually, the numbers are pretty good. Look at this, 1k. So this is the initial damage of the ult. It's 1k, guys. 1k at level 7 only. That is really good. That is really, really good. And the numbers here aren't that bad as well. His resonance cost, or the ult cost, is 125. That is quite a big number. So you're probably gonna need quite a bit of energy regen as well. Maybe a little bit more energy regen around the 130 mark. The numbers are there, man. The numbers are there. Even the basic attack numbers. Let's see. Look at this. 79 on stage 2. 31. Bro, it's only in level 7 too. His numbers are pretty good. The goal is, again, guys, is to have 70, at least 70% crit rate. If you can go for 75 or more, that would be wonderful. Now, for the team comps with this guy, I honestly think Janshin would be insanely good. Janshin, for those who don't know, Janshin provides Resonance Liberation buff. I think she's the only character right now that provides that buff on her Ultra skill. With the inherent skill of Xiangli Yao, focus right here, Xiangli Yao's resistance to interruption is enhanced. So you further buff that resistance interruption with Janshin's shield and the bell, of course, using Janshin. Of course, Verina, Baizha, those characters will always be an insane support, a buffer, a healer. I don't know about you guys, but I think Sanwa is really, really good. So if we go back to the gameplay of Xiangli Yao here, so when we have full forte gauge here, it's only the skill that deals resonance, or considered as resonance liberation. It's only this skill right here, that one right there, and everything else is considered as basic attack, right? Even in your ult state, everything else is considered basic attack, except for a couple of things, right? While you're charging up your forte gauge or your forte circuit or your liberation, while you're charging up, you're gonna do a lot of normal attacks like this. Main way to charge it up. He is a main DPS after all. Do you see how slow the bar charges up? The point is, Sanwa giving basic attack damage bonus is really, really good in my opinion. At least while you're charging up your ult, while you're charging up everything else, your circuit and everything else, the basic attack that you're going to do a lot, you have buff from Sanwa. Sanwa and Janshin is a pretty good team comp in my opinion. That is the team comp that I'm gonna go for, but that is all just speculation. I will make a guide for Xiangli Yao when he comes out, so stay tuned for all of that good stuff. What do you guys think of Xiangli Yao? Honestly, I think he's going to be insanely good, but we'll just have to see when he actually gets released in the game and we can actually use him with our own builds, our own team comps and everything. I'm looking forward to Xiangli Yao. I think he'll be insanely good as a main DPS. That's just me. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Are you looking forward to Xiangli Yao? Do you plan to main him or do you plan to bench him? Let me know your thoughts. And last but not least, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We'll be doing more content in the future. I'll see you all in the next video.